strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently. We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queens.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
We get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. With that all being said, let's see who's in here. All right. Hello, Chris B, Songwriter Sunny, 57 Beige Fox, Millicent Cookie. All right, Sheila Askins, Millicent. All right. Let's get into it, Carlton. We the people. Reggie. Okay. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I see you, Trisha. All right. DJ The Truth TV is here. Quiet Storm, Ashgan. All right, so let's get, Ash Khan. Okay, now with that all being said, let's get ready to get black into it. Everyone hit that like button. Thank you in advance. Hey, Pearly. Hey, Deronda. Okay, here we go. Let's have a brief word from our sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Kratz. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil. And also, there is a sale going on. Okay, there's a sale going on right now, and that sale is going to be lasting until the 7th. All right, so make sure you get your bundle. All right, so with that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. First, I'm trying to pull up this overlay real quick. Hold on, give me just a second. Okay, first off, let's talk about Sugar Ray Leonard. This is a sad story. Clearly, his son has an addiction problem, and his father is very concerned, as any parent would be. Now, here's a picture of Sugar Ray Leonard and his son. So let's talk about it. Sugar Ray Leonard makes shocking claims about son after alleged violent incident at boxing legend's home. So Sugar Ray Leonard has made some claims about his son, Daniel Leonard, just hours after the 25-year-old was arrested in Los Angeles. Now, the boxing legend filed a request for a restraining order against his youngest son on May the 20th, in which he wrote that Daniel was an addict, a thief, and a danger to himself and his family, according to the document obtained by the California Post. Now, this is very sad because I'm sure if you don't know someone who is an addict, you know someone who knows someone. Okay, and these people absolutely are not themselves. They do things that they would never do had they not been suffering from an addiction. And it's really sad because by the fact that his father has money, that probably allowed him to have even more so access to illegal substances. Okay, so they say that he has OD'd 4 times. Okay, this is what Sugar Ray Leonard said in a handwritten declaration. They had to bring him back to life twice at the hospital. He has stolen extreme amounts of money, valuable items. Okay, he steals everything. He steals every day for years. This is what they say. Now, Ray asked a judge for an order that would require Daniel to stay 100 yards away from him, his home, his job, his family, his wife, Bernadette, and their daughter, Camille, and his vehicle. Now, Ray also requested an order for Daniel to move out of his Pacific Palisades residence. He says, my son Daniel Leonard has been a rug addict for 7 or 8 years at least. His behavior has gotten worse over the years. Ray said that there were 2 incidents that occurred earlier this month that sparked his sudden need for that order. The first, Ray wrote in the filing, happened at his Pacific Palisades home on May the 19th. He said, we had a physical altercation where he pushed me and got real ugly. Now, the police officers were needed at that moment. The police officers came and Daniel was escorted off of our property because of where things were headed. Now, according to Ray, he was given a temporary restraining order against Daniel following that encounter. But the next day, on May the 20th, Daniel appeared at his home again and was arrested again for violating the order. So Los Angeles County jail records showed Daniel was taken into custody at around 6:45 a.m. and was not released until May the 22nd. Daniel's behavior has become so cold. This is what his father says in the filing. He says, I love my son, but he has become a danger, not only to himself, but to his family. My wife is extremely afraid, along with my daughter, Camille. His behavior has gotten worse every day. We haven't had a day of peace in 9 years, which is the reality of his addiction. Scared for my family. Now, court records show a judge granted Ray's request shortly after he asked for it, ordering Daniel to stay at least 100 yards away from Ray and his family and to move out of the boxer's home. Now, the judge, however, wrote additional facts were needed for the order to include adult daughter and as a protected party. Now, the order is slated to last until June the 15th because this was filed in May. Okay, when a hearing to discuss a more permanent restraining order will then take place. A hearing on Daniel's alleged restraining order violation, they said, meanwhile, has been scheduled for June the 25th. Okay, so for the first violation, that's going to be June the 25th, according to jail records. Attempts to reach Daniel for comment on the situation were not successful. Listen, he's in the full throes of his addiction from the sounds of it, and he's likely uncontrollable. They don't know what to do with him, and he absolutely is a danger to them and himself. Because when people get on illegal substances, they literally have demons. Okay, they have demons that they're battling with. Okay, they have all sorts of nonsensical thoughts and influences. They're not willing to listen to reason. You can't reason with them because they're not thinking logically. Okay, it's all about what they want, and their addiction drives them to just do all sorts of nefariousness to feed that craving. Okay, so this is a very sad situation. I'm going to be praying for him and his family and praying for his son also. Okay, I hope that he can get over this. He really needs some sort of rehab treatment, if you ask me, but I'm sure they know that, and he likely just won't go. Okay, he likely just refuses to go because sometimes people just think they don't really need to. They think they can quit when they want to, but clearly he cannot. So a very sad situation, like I said. And also it's very interesting that Sugar Ray Leonard was brave enough to come out with this story, just to put it out there. Okay, because hopefully his story can help someone else. All right, so now moving right along, you all's presidents, yeah, he's under investigation supposedly for that little slick move he tried to pull with the anti-weaponization fund, okay, the slush fund. Let's get into it. Everyone, please like and share. The felon in charge under a whole investigation, and I'm here for it. Okay, I'm here for it. He absolutely needs to be. Needs to be in prison, matter of fact.
This is going to be really interesting. Trump may be dropping this slush fund as of tonight. Reportedly, he is considering doing that. But as far as I understand it, him dropping it won't necessarily stop the judge's investigation, the now ongoing investigation into whether all of this was a crime. Tonight, after what is being, I think, sort of mildly described as backlash to Trump's attempt for this slush fund, Trump's attempt to back up a truck to the Treasury to take nearly $2 billion to use as a slush fund. The White House tonight is reportedly backing off that plan to try to take that money for Trump. And that is in part because it hasn't just been Democrats in Congress. It has been Republicans in Congress who said no to this thing and who showed themselves to be prepared to vote against it as well. But I think the underappreciated part of all of this, something I feel like I want more clarity on, is that it is really starting to look like they were going to get in trouble for this. Mm-hmm. There was that one court ruling on Friday that ordered Trump not to start up the fund or make any disbursements from it. But there was also the other court ruling on Friday that essentially indicated that a judge had started an investigation, a court ruling that essentially started an investigation led by a federal judge into whether or not the whole process by which Trump was trying to take this money might have been an act of fraud, might have been a fraud on the court. The whole idea that this was a settlement of a lawsuit appears to have been false from the beginning. It was designed that way simply as a pretext to give the appearance of legality to what was otherwise just a bank robbery against the American people. And it is one thing politically to try to pull that off for the American people. It's one thing to try to sort of pull, try to scam people and tell people not to believe their lying eyes about what's happened. But to do it to a federal court essentially gives the federal judge overseeing that court the right to look into it to see whether you might have committed fraud against that court and thereby be subject to sanctions for it. So this is going to be really interesting. Trump may be dropping this slush fund as of tonight. Reportedly, he is considering doing that. But as far as I understand it, him dropping it won't necessarily stop the judge's investigation, the now ongoing investigation into whether all of this was a crime.
Okay, it absolutely was a crime. It's not going to work out the way he thought it was. Okay, and he thinks that dropping the whole thing is going to get rid of that investigation, but it isn't. Okay, so much for his slush fund, for his thugs, his band of thieves and varmints. Okay, so now listen to this because I find this all interesting. 2 researchers charged with allegedly trying to smuggle monkeypox through Detroit Metro Airport. Okay. So 2 foreign nationals working at the National Institutes of Health are facing charges for allegedly trying to smuggle monkeypox into the United States through the Detroit Metro Airport. Now they say, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office, Vincent Munster, age 53, a citizen of the Netherlands, and Claude Q, or Quee, K-W-E, Quee, 38 years old, a citizen of Cameroon, are accused of providing federal authorities with false statements after arriving at the McNamara terminal on January the 25th of 2026. Now, officials say, now this was just reported on June the 2nd. Now, officials say the two people who were researchers originally traveled from Brazzaville, Republic of Congo, where an MPox outbreak was ongoing. They say Customs and Border Patrol officials spotted the individuals with a black plastic case, according to a criminal complaint. Now, when asked, Munster and Quee told federal officials the case was carrying diagnostic and testing equipment. Now, further inspection uncovered 113 vials in styrofoam coolers, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Now, the FBI tested 20 of the vials shortly after the discovery. 17 of those vials contained deactivated monkeypox virus, while another contained the chickenpox virus, and 2 others contained human DNA. Okay, please pay attention. What were they really up to? Now, if you all remember, I reported to you some years ago, I want to say it was in 2020 or 2021, but if you remember, I reported a similar case. There were 2 Asian officials going through the airport, there was one. He was going through the airport with some sort of biochemical weapon. Okay, it was some sort of virus that he was supposedly carrying. Now, no researcher should believe their positions, credentials, or professional status place them above the law. This is what Jennifer Runyon, special agent in charge of the FBI Detroit field office, said in a statement, saying that the allegations in this case are serious. They involve the dangerous and unlawful smuggling of deactivated monkeypox virus into the United States and alleged efforts to mislead our federal agents. Now, Munster, chief of the virus ecology section at the Rocky Mountain Laboratory, and Quee, a research fellow, told federal officials that they were tasked with studying viruses that could affect the United States, according to the complaint. The individuals told officials they had been in the Republic of Congo for more than a week studying a strain of monkeypox. Now, they went on to say that Munster and Quee did not present the true identities of the biological materials in their possession and did not provide or possess the necessary certifications. So just telling lies. Rather, Munster and Quee attempted to pass the samples off as unused diagnostics, according to the complaint. Now, FBI investigators spoke with officials at the U.S. Department of Agriculture who determined that Munster and Quee needed a USDA permit to travel into the U.S. with the materials. Now, according to the USDA, the Code of Federal Regulations mandates that no organisms or vectors shall be imported into the United States or transported from one state or territory or the District of Columbia to another state or territory or the District of Columbia without a permit. Okay, the FBI agent says, I am grateful for the outstanding and diligent work of the FBI Detroit, JTTF, the FBI Billings, and the U.S. Customs and Border Protection team at Detroit Metro Airport, and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and OIG for keeping our communities safe. This is what Runyon says. Now, this comes 1 year after Chinese nationals were accused of smuggling a dangerous biological pathogen into Michigan. Young King and Jian, 33. Sorry, no, that's all one name. Young King Jian, age 33, from the People's Republic of China, was deported after pleading guilty and receiving a sentence for time served. Her boyfriend, 34-year-old Zunyong Liu, went to China after his arrest and was unlikely to return to the United States. So you all hear this? Now, this sounds like the same story I reported about, like I said, about 5 or 6 years ago. So this is a more recent one because this just happened, okay, with these people trying to smuggle this stuff in. This was a year ago. So a third person, 28-year-old Chek-Yong Han, was also arrested in June of 2025 and pleaded no contest to 3 smuggling charges and to making false statements to U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers. Han was sentenced in September of 2025 to time served and returned to China. Now, in November of 2025, federal investigators charged 3 other Chinese nationals with conspiracy to smuggle goods into the U.S. and false statements. The cases against those people were dismissed eventually. So do you all hear this? This is something that they obviously do on a regular basis because that's several cases right there, or for within the last 2 years. Okay? More of a reason for us to boycott the Asians, as far as I'm concerned. Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about the Carmelo Anthony case. Because supposedly there was a clash outside of the courthouse and they say all hell broke loose. Now, mind you, Queen Sheba said that she wasn't able to get into the courthouse today, but she did say that, in fact, because they're only letting like 27 of the public in. Now, but she did say that they were fighting outside. Okay, and I find it all interesting. So let's go to the report. Likes up. Everyone, please like and share in advance. I'm going to share my screen.
Happening today, the murder trial of Karmelo Anthony will resume this morning after prosecutors were seen clashing outside a Texas courthouse as opening arguments kicked off. Watch this.
You don't scare us, man. You don't scare us.
The suspect is accused of stabbing and killing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a track meet last year.
Chanley Painter here with the details. Chan.
Hey, Todd and Carly. So prosecutors will continue their case against 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony later this morning in Texas after, as you said, tensions boiled over outside the courthouse yesterday with dueling crowds on both sides making their voices heard, some focusing on the all-white jury selected in the case.
You lost! You lost!
Anthony is accused of fatally stabbing 17-year-old football star Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet in April of last year. Police say the confrontation started when Metcalf told Anthony he wasn't supposed to be in a team tent. Investigators say things quickly escalated, ending when Anthony pulled out a knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest. The jury heard the emotional 911 calls and saw enhanced video from the track meet. Anthony has pleaded not guilty to murder. His defense told the jury that Metcalf struck first and Anthony reacted in a split second of fear and chaos. Prosecutors told the jury in openings that the case has nothing to do with race or self-defense. They say Metcalf was unarmed, that Anthony provoked a fight with someone he didn't know, and then pulled out a knife and carried out what they described as a, quote, sneak attack. Metcalf's father previously spoke to Fox. Watch this.
This was not a race thing. And this is not a political thing. This is a human being thing. This person made a bad choice and it affected both his family and my family forever.
And Anthony faces between 5 and 99 years in prison if convicted. This trial is expected to last at least 2 weeks, guys.
All right, Chanley Painter, thank you. Let's bring in nationally recognized plaintiff's attorney from the Hyman law firm, Kelly Hyman. Kelly, based upon what you learned in court yesterday, I know you've been following this, we all got a sense of how prosecutors are going to attack defendants' self-defense argument. Was it effective in your opinion?
Ultimately, that's going to be up to the jury of whether they think it's effective, but it was very powerful statements. So each side got opening statements, and those are not evidence, but they're a way to persuade the jury about their position. Judge gave them 20 minutes each. And from the prosecution standpoint, they have the burden. They have to prove every single element of the charges of the crime. And what they told was a very compelling story for their position, that this was a senseless act. Now, from the defense standpoint, they are going to come with self-defense, and they are going to make a very strong argument in this case.
What I find fascinating about this case is that prosecution obviously has to prove their case in chief, and they need to do it beyond a reasonable doubt, all the typical elements of a crime that you need to prove if you're the prosecution. But they also have another role, I would argue, equally as important, and it's keeping race out of this case, because that gets really complicated and it gets real sticky. The judge also has that obligation. How difficult will it be for both prosecutors and the judge to keep race out of this?
Well, when we look at the jury makeup, it's important to note that the jury, it's been reported that there are no African Americans on the jury. And so this was a bone of contention from the defense standpoint, because there were 3 African American women on the jury that was striked by the prosecution. Now, under our Constitution, we are allowed a jury of our peers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that someone who is African American is going to get an all African American jury. But what that means is by your peers, that it's supposed to represent the community, that in fact the juries are what the community represents. Now, defense challenged that the 3 African Americans were taken off the jury, but the prosecution standpoint said it wasn't race-based. Now, if in fact the defendant is convicted, I could definitely see this race issue going up on appeal and potentially reverse any type of verdict.
You led me to my final question. Could you see this case? We reported that the trial is going to last about 2 weeks, but based upon how many issues are ripe for appeal, including starting issue 1, the jury, could you see this case dragging on and on and on for years in the appellate system?
That could potentially happen, but it's important to remember about this case. There are 12 jurors, and the way it is in Texas, that all 12 jurors have to agree, in fact, that he is guilty of the charge. So if one doesn't agree, then that could potentially be a mistrial. But in fact, if he's convicted, as Todd, you pointed out, this case could definitely go on appeal, and then it could go back again and potentially last for many years.
Kelly Hyman, thank you for your insight on this. Really appreciate it this morning. Thank you.
Okay, so what I find interesting is that none of the people that are reporting on this who don't look like me, none of them are actually saying exactly what they saw in that video. I want you all to pay attention to that. None of them are talking about that, okay? They're not talking about it, and the reason is because they know darn well that the video shows that it was absolutely 100% self-defense, okay? But they want to push their narrative because they want empathy and sympathy for this young man. But the problem is, when the shoe's on the other foot, where is that empathy and sympathy? Okay, these are the same people, as I told you, that think that Chud the Builder acted in self-defense. Okay, a man who was going around stalking and harassing, obsessing over black folk, calling them the N-word, clearly provoking them. That's what he was doing, not Karmelo. How was Karmelo provoking anyone when the person approached him? Now, after you approach me, anything that I say is not provocative. Okay. Anything I say after you approach me confrontationally with hostile and aggression, with hostility and aggression, there's nothing that I can now do to provoke you. You've already provoked yourself. You're trying to provoke me as far as I'm concerned when you walk up in my face. Now, he put hands on him. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. And they said several other people put hands on him as well. He and his brother, they not only punched, pushed, and shoved him, they took his backpack and threw it. Now, why aren't they telling that part? That's what they're not saying. But please pay attention. So now let's go to this video, this clip, where Queen Sheba talks about how there was chaos outside. She didn't get to go in today because there was already too many people in there. You have to get there early. Just like we did at the Diddy trial, same thing.
All right, y'all, I am live.
Hold on, let me put my overlay on here.
The Collin County Courthouse, and unfortunately I did not make it into the courtroom this morning, but that's okay. I'm gonna be back. Your girl's gonna be back. So this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna go grab a cup of coffee, right, really quick, because it's a wrap right now. I wouldn't give up my seat either. It was absolute mayhem out here today. We had people fighting. There was accidents. People were being escorted off the property, banned from the property. I'm going to come back at lunch and try to get in there. Try to get in there. Wish me luck. Say your prayer. Let's go get some coffee, and we're going to get back in the game. All right, y'all. I am live at the
Okay, so now with that all being said, let's go to the Twitter or the X account of the journalist from CBS and see what he's reporting, because I do believe that he even didn't say exactly what was in that video. Okay, if I'm not mistaken. Now let's get into it. Now, I went over some of these details with you all this morning. Okay, so I'm going to start right here at the 8-hour mark. Yeah, I'm going to go to the ones that start at the 8-hour mark. So they say jurors are getting their first look. Well, we already saw this, the first look at the knife. We already covered that this morning. Okay, let's see here. Jurors are now watching an extremely graphic body cam video that shows paramedics applying CPR to try and save Austin Metcalf's life, while you can hear students wailing and screaming inside the stadium from a distance. Inside the courtroom, Austin Metcalf's mother and father each have other family members wrapping their arms around them, and they broke down in tears while watching it. Karmelo Anthony is watching the video intently along with the jurors. The video captures the chaos and uncertainty about what happened and why. Okay, so just notice that, as I told you, he didn't say anything about them putting hands on Melo. Now, this is from 6 hours ago. He says, for the first time, we're hearing from a state witness to the fatal stabbing of Austin Metcalf. He was there to run the 800-meter race. He described the scene as he arrived at the stadium and who was there. He entered the Memorial High tent and says he saw Karmelo inside. He testified that Karmelo was hanging out in the tent. He says, I remember people confronting Karmelo and saying, you shouldn't be here. You probably should leave our tent. I also said you should leave. The prosecutor says, was it aggressive? He says, I don't think so. I remember it getting more aggressive. I remember Karmelo refusing to leave and Austin saying, you need to leave. And Karmelo saying, touch me and find out. Now, Austin's track teammate says Karmelo was asked to leave about 15 times. Prosecutor said, did anyone try to gang up on him? He says, no, sir. Prosecutor says, how long did this go on? He says, roughly 2 minutes. Prosecutor says, was Karmelo angry? Yes, sir. Prosecutor, was Austin angry? Yes, sir. Karmelo started refusing to leave. Prosecutors say, who was provoking Karmelo? He says Austin leans in to push him and Karmelo stabs him. Karmelo had his hands inside a backpack and we thought it was a bluff. He says that he and others didn't believe Karmelo would do anything because they live in a safe community. Austin fell down the bleachers into his back and he got up. He lifted up his shirt where his chest was all bloody and he said, I think I got stabbed. Prosecutor said, did he say anything? I think he said, oh my God. Now, prosecution asking about Austin's shove of Karmelo. He said, I wouldn't say it was a light shove or a hard shove. I would say it was more of an in-between. Was Hunter involved in any of this? He says no. Okay, because somebody's lying. Okay, somebody's lying because that's not what the video shows. Okay, supposedly. Now, witnesses recreate the movements before the fatal stabbing with defense attorney Toby Shook. He says Karmelo Anthony was seated with his backpack in his lap and his hand inside. Austin Metcalf approaches and is right in front of him. Witnesses say Metcalf leans in and pushes Anthony by placing his 2 hands on Anthony's shoulders. Anthony pulls the knife out of his backpack, gets up, and pushes Metcalf while at the same time stabbing him in the chest. Metcalf falls back down the bleachers. Now, here's a video where they say tensions are running high outside the Collin County Courthouse right now. This is currently happening outside the Karmelo Anthony murder trial. Okay, let's see what's going on here.
Like we give a fuck about this shit. But we know what side y'all on already. We don't give a fuck about none of it. We already know y'all picking sides. We know what side y'all on when y'all got out the court. We know when y'all sat in the car and talked on the walkie-talkies. We all
Okay, now I muted the volume because I haven't seen this video. Excuse me, I don't know what he's going to say. Okay, so let me try to fast forward past him.
They're gonna come out of the call the jump out, boys. What are you doing? Hey, they running up here.
She's acting like a human being. Stop saying that shit. You don't look like an animal. You don't look like an animal. You know you got the game.
Listen, here's the thing. I know tempers are rising and everything is all, flared up or whatever, but I really wish that Black people would not even entertain them. I wish they would not even entertain them. Do you know how much more impactful it would be if you just ignored them? These people want our attention. They do things to purposely provoke us. Bringing Confederate flags to the courthouse, really? Okay, talking about race wars, really? I just wish they would ignore these people. At the end of the day, they're just trying to provoke them. Okay, please pay attention. But let's continue.
His brother didn't get rescued. The teacher had to. His brother was looking at him down.
Okay, so this is probably going to be happening every day. Who knows? Okay, so that was the last thing he posted. That was from 3 hours ago. Now, someone isn't telling the truth. Because did they not say, people who were in the courtroom, that they ganged up on him? How is it now that we have the person who's reporting this stuff, or the witness saying that there was only one person and that the brother didn't get involved after the video's already been shown? Okay, what I would like to know is what happened when this person was cross-examined. Now, have they been cross-examined? Maybe not. Maybe that'll be tomorrow. I'm not sure. But I definitely want to hear what happened under cross-examination, because if that person's lying, the defense is going to pull all of that out upon cross. Okay, please pay attention. I really think narratives are being painted here. I feel bad for Austin Metcalf's family, okay, at the end of the day, but this is something that, in my opinion, he brought on himself. Okay, he brought on himself, because here's the thing. Here is the thing. Yes, there's conflicting stories. Okay, but I do believe that they jumped him. They're trying to make it sound like, oh, he was sitting there and then Austin got in front of his face and pushed him and then he stabbed him. Now, that doesn't even sound right. First of all, so he stabbed him as he was sitting down, or when did he stand up? When did they throw his backpack? Because we heard that as well. Did we not hear that they threw his backpack, they threw his phone and all of that stuff? It sounds like they're trying to minimize culpability. Another thing I want to mention is that this morning when I was reporting on this, and they said that Austin Metcalf's coach had texted him that morning and told him to step up and to do, to step up and help at the track meets. I don't believe it. We never heard that before. Why didn't he say that a long time ago? This trial just started, but the story's been out for over a year. So I'm just curious as to why the coach never said that before. I think this is something they concocted because they're on code. Okay. I think this is something they concocted so they could make it look as if Austin was not, in fact, being confrontational. Okay. I think that's the gist of it. Now, was everybody really telling Karmelo to leave? Because that's another thing. They never said that either. They always said that Austin saw him. This is what they said. They said Austin saw him. And Austin, first of all, they say that Karmelo was sitting behind Hunter, and that's Austin's twin brother. And Austin was sitting a few people away. And Austin looked over and noticed Karmelo. Okay, and then Austin approached him. They never said anything initially about other people, about him being told at least 15 times to leave. That makes no sense. They never said that in the beginning. Are you all paying attention to what's going on here? The fix is in. Now, people may think that I'm putting 20 on 10, but I'm telling you that I have been covering this story from start until now. And it was never reported, go back and check previous videos, that anybody other than Austin and his brother confronted him, telling him that he had to leave. Okay? And nobody darn sure said anything about a coach texting him. They sat there, they've had plenty of time to get their stories together. And all of those white people do not want to be off code, because even if they wanted to say something that was more beneficial to Karmelo, I promise you they wouldn't, because they would be viewed as an outcast by the rest of them in their community, and I'm sure they would make their lives a living hell. So with that all being said, I don't believe a lot of this stuff that's going on. I believe, and here's the thing. I'm sorry, I put the wrong comment on the screen. Here's the thing. Why don't they post the video so we can see it? Why don't they let everybody see the video? I bet you they don't want to do that. And that's another thing. When the story first came out, when it all first happened, why didn't they release the footage then? Because we know why. Because that would have shown that it was self-defense. Okay, now they can sit in that courtroom and paint all sorts of narratives, and we're not privy to see the video footage, so they're going to keep painting their narrative. Fox News, okay, specifically, okay, the racist people specifically, they're going to keep acting as though this young man was so violent, so crazy, okay, and so unhinged that he plunged a knife into someone's heart for merely asking him to leave. That's the picture they want to paint. Now, we all know with common sense that's not what happened. Okay, we know that's not what happened. Karmelo Anthony is not a thug. He never was a thug at the end of the day. He never was a thug. He had no record. He not been in trouble in school. He has a good GPA and all of that. He was on the football team. He ran track and all of those things. So at the end of the day, they're trying to paint him as the thug and the aggressor. They're now trying to say that he provoked Austin. How do you provoke someone who confronts you first? How do you do that? And even if Austin's coach had texted him that morning and told him to go and take care or help out with the track team or whatever, and he thought that entailed him going up to someone who he felt didn't belong under there, what he should have done, okay, let's talk about it. When he confronted Karmelo, if Karmelo refused to leave, go get an adult, go get a coach. Why didn't he do that? Why didn't he do that rather than escalating something? If someone says, don't put your hands on me, and you put your hands on them, you're asking for it. Now, I'm not saying he asked to be stabbed, but what I'm saying is that literally makes you the aggressor. You can't then play the victim and say someone provoked you to put their hands on them, because the choice was up to you. It's just like when Chud the Builder was going around provoking Black people. Didn't the racist devils say, well, you all should be able to control your tempers. Don't let him provoke you. Isn't that what they said? But now they're saying the opposite of that. And I want you all to pay very close attention to that. Okay? Pay very close attention to that, because this is what the devils always do. All right? And so that all being said, moving right along, now let's talk about this Rick Chow situation again, because there's more people saying things, and we have some of the Asian community coming out and saying that we should not punish all of them. They're saying that we should not punish all of them for what one person did. Well, you know what? Maybe that's true. But at the end of the day, when one Black person does something, they sure as hell punish all of us. They sure call all of us thugs. Okay. And they put all of us in one, they paint us all with one brush. That's what they do. All right. So I don't see anything wrong with it. But also, I think you all want to see this. Have you all seen this doll? Now, I've had this video for about 3 or 4 days, and I keep forgetting to show it. But someone mentioned it today, and that reminded me. Now check this out.
Videos featuring a stress relief toy nicknamed Natasha are going viral online and sparking major controversy. The doll resembles a small black baby, and in many clips, users squeeze it, stomp on it, throw it, and even run it over for content. The videos are usually framed as jokes or stress relief, and the trend has spread quickly across social media. What caught people's attention is that these toys come in multiple colors, yet the trend seems heavily focused on this specific version of the doll. That immediately made some viewers uncomfortable. As the clip spread online, reactions became divided. Some people dismissed it as harmless internet humor involving a squishy toy. Others argued the videos felt disturbing, especially because the doll appears to represent a Black child while being used in violent or humiliating ways. The debate quickly moved beyond the toy itself and turned into a larger conversation about race, online behavior, and how far people push push trends for views and engagement. And now the internet is split. Some people say critics are overreacting to a toy, while others believe there's a reason this specific doll became the center of the trend in the first place. So what do you think? Harmless stress relief content, or does this trend cross a line?
Do we even need to answer that? Okay, I think we all see what's going on here. Please pay attention. And it's easy for them to say that some critics are just taking it the wrong way, or we're just looking at it, viewing it too critically or whatever. But if they were doing that to a certain group of people, for example, if they made a doll like that and put a blue star on it, and then people were doing only that doll like that, you think they'd be saying the critics are being, if those people got upset, you think they'd be dismissing their feelings? You think they'd be saying, oh, they're just making too much out of it. They're putting 20 on 10. You think they'd be saying that? Of course they wouldn't. Okay, of course they wouldn't. Now, I'm starting to get sick and tired of all of these low-down racist devils coming for Black people. Are y'all sick and tired? Because you should be. With that all being said, we don't have to go out there rioting. We don't have to go out there protesting. We don't have to do any of the things that we used to do. You see, at the end of the day, now all we need to do is just boycott, period. That's all we need to do. That hurts them worse. It doesn't hurt them if you go out there protesting. I promise you it doesn't. All they do is wait for you to get tired, go back home, calm down, and then it's back to business as usual. But not this time. Okay, I promise you, not this time. They're going to see. Okay, and anyone that's doubting, you're going to see too. Okay, please pay attention. Now, let me go to these clips. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. I find it all so interesting. Let's go to this white woman, first of all, who says that she has a biracial son.
About 8 years ago, I stopped at a convenience store in Louisiana, in South Louisiana, with my oldest son, my oldest Black son. And, of course, the lady behind the counter, the attendant, assumed that we weren't together, because that's the first thing they do in the South when you have a biracial child, is assume that they're not yours. So she assumed that he was by himself. And he was just waiting on me. I was in line and he was just waiting on me, mind his business. Picked up a couple of things and looked at them, put them back. And then he sat up in he leaned up against the counter waiting for me because I was like next in line. Well, she proceeded to stare at him and just was giving him dirty looks, looking at his hair, and at the time he didn't have dreads, he had a fro, and just looking at him really nasty. And I noticed he didn't, because he had his back turned to her. And I didn't want to bring it to his attention, because I try to, I don't want my kids to get their feelings hurt or whatever. So, anyways, he was 17. And, he had his back turned to her, so she did her thing. And then I saw that what she was doing. So I said, Michael, you can go wait in the car for me, I'm going to finish up. So he left, he didn't know. So as he was walking out, she said something to him about calling the cops for stealing something. He didn't hear her, I did. So after he was out of the store, I proceeded to handle business, and I took care of her in that situation. But my point in sharing this story is that if I wouldn't have been there, then that could have gone very differently. That whole situation could have gone very differently if I wouldn't have been there.
Yeah, she's right. It absolutely could have gone real bad. Okay? But this is normal for them. This is what they always do. Okay, now let's go to these next videos. Like up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
Asians together. If you're going to group all of the Asians together, we cannot have a productive conversation because you're just as racist as Rick Chow. If you can't even take the time to understand that there is a lot of racial tension between Southeast Asians and East Asians, then we can never have a productive conversation. If you're just going to try and cancel everyone out, boycott everybody, then
Oh, we're absolutely boycotting and canceling everybody the hell out. At the end of the day, listen, if these East Asians and South Asians or whatever is beefing, that's their business. I don't have anything to do with that. What the hell does that got to do with us? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Pun intended. Nothing. Okay, please miss us with it. The boycott is on. Okay, and this is permanent. This is not like for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months. No, this is permanent. We're not effing with y'all. Period. Okay. And we do know that there are some good Asians and some that who don't act racist, but they're going to suffer right along with the rest of you. Just like black people suffer right along with the rest of the black people when they do something to one of us, or when one of us does something nefarious and they blame us all. That's how it works. Okay. Please miss me with it. I hope all of us don't start crashing out like this dude right here, because he's very upset.
Man, no, man, I can't stop. Hey, y'all, I can't stop watching that video, y'all. I can't stop watching that video, how they killed that 14-year-old boy, bro. That boy ain't do nothing wrong, man. I just seen the video. He ain't do nothing wrong. He showed them he ain't have a gun. He put down his backpack. He did everything that they asked. He emptied his pockets. He didn't do shit wrong, nigga. I swear to God, man. To my black community, bro. I swear to God, I'm so mad, G. I can't do shit. I'm so mad, bro. I ain't got nobody behind me. I can't do nothing, man. I'm so mad. It's like I'm by myself with this shit. Please listen to me, bro. To my black community, bro. And to the whites. And to anybody else that want to join in, but to my black community. Don't fuck with them Asians, bro. We taking our money back, bro. No, bro. No go. I'm telling you, ladies, listen to me, ladies. I know y'all gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go to the best person who provides the best service. This ain't about that no more, man. Fuck them. You got Mexicans, you got Puerto Ricans, you got blacks who do the same shit. Stop going. Please make this viral. Stop fucking with them. We taking our dollar from them, bro. Please do that shit, man. I can't do this shit by myself, bro. I can't do this shit by myself, bro. Please, bro. Please, I'm begging y'all, man. Do something right. Do something right. Please do something right. Please, bro. Please. I'm just begging y'all, my people. Please. We got to get this lick back. Don't give them no more of our money, man.
Boycott Asian businesses. Please do. We'll get rid of the Chinese takeout, the dry cleaners, the laundromats. Let's get rid of the liquor stores as well. Get rid of the Jordans you guys wear, the Nikes you wear, the shower caps, the Hondas, the Hyundais, all your car electricians, the electronics in your house, the Sony, the TV system, your sound system, the microphones that you guys use to rap and speak about awareness for the black culture and the hip hop culture. Where do you think that's made in? That's made all in Asia. And here's another thing for you guys. You guys want us to leave the neighborhood so bad? Oh, Asian people are not neighborhoods? We're in white neighborhoods. We have our own Chinatown. We have our own Koreatown. You think we really need you guys to benefit off and make money? A lot of us do go to college as well. You're being outworked by immigrants who barely speak the black as well. You're being outworked by immigrants who barely speak English. People, I want to see your own women get on their hands and knees and do pedicures and manicures and deal with nasty ass attitudes, okay? Please boycott Asian business. I'm all for it.
If this is not a wake-up call to Black America, I don't know what is. He's saying the quiet part out loud, what his folks really think about Black Americans. There's a strong dislike. They're only in the community to do business. Like he stated, we got our own community. We don't even want to really be here doing business with y'all. Where you think hurry up and buy come from? Yeah, give me the money and leave the store. Just leave. Because we don't live in your communities. We have our own communities. And if they're not in those communities, they're living amongst them. So yeah, this should not only be a boycott and ban, but this should be a call for Black American mom and pop shops to come back to Black American communities. And Chinese, bro, y'all really need to knock it off, because what do y'all think y'all known to the world as? The emperors of knockoffs. Ask Louis Vuitton how they feel about the Chinese knocking off their products. Ask Gucci, all these high-end luxury brands, all these brands, how they feel about China knocking off their products. Y'all are not innovators. Y'all are imitators. You have to send a Chinese balloon, spy balloon, across America. And when it comes to the microphone, the modern mic, the advancement of acoustic technology, no Asians had nothing to do with none of that. It was a Black American man, Dr. James West. He played a major factor in the breakthrough of acoustic technology. So you had nothing to do with giving Black America a voice. But like I said, y'all known for knockoffs. Timo, DHgate, Alibaba. People buy from them because it's cheap, not because of the quality. Like, yeah, but like I really wish that Black American mom and pop shops make a comeback. Because look, he belittled Black Americans. Like, oh, you need to buy from our liquor stores. You need to buy from our, you need services from our laundry services. Like, Black Americans don't own liquor stores. Like, there's no Black American owned liquor store. Like, there's no Black American owned cleaners. The Jeffersons, remember the Jeffersons, that show? But there's real life Black owned cleaners. There just need to be more of them. But yeah, this is how they really feel. And to the women, Black American women, you correct me if I'm wrong. If you in those nail shops, those nail salons, they treat the non-Black American women differently than how they treat Black American women. And far as this immigrant stuff, y'all need to knock it off, because if it wasn't for the Immigration Act and Nationality Act of 1964, 1965, y'all wouldn't even be over here, because they already had an Immigration Act of 1924, which favor these immigrants, right? The only reason you're over here is because of that. So yeah, I'm landing my plane.
Other beauty supply stores in her area. And the allegations are those stores said no.
So I did not know that in order to own a beauty supply store and get supplies from a distributor, you have to get the permission of other beauty supply stores surrounding your area. I did not know that. And what she was saying was a lady named Matisse was trying to start a Black-owned beauty supply store, but she could not get the distributors to give her products because all the Asian beauty supply stores said no. So you have to get the permission of all the surrounding beauty supply stores in order to get products from the distributor, which I knew because I figured something was wrong every time a Black person tried to open up a beauty supply store. What kind of law is that you got to get the approval of all the surrounding beauty supply stores? So that's like a monopoly. So the Asian beauty supply stores have a monopoly in our neighborhood where we can't open up a beauty supply store and get supplies from the distributor because they are saying no, but yet you keep going buying your products from Asian beauty supply stores. Yet you keep going buying your products and food from Asian markets. This is why we can't get anything. And they're in our area. What the audacity of them to say no. But I tell you what, if we stop shopping with them, we can dry them up. There will be no Asian beauty supply stores in the area to ask. But see, we need to get on one accord. That's where we start doing the supporting the Black businesses only. And I mean only. That's where we need to start doing group economics with our people only. They are holding us back. And see, what they say, there's no systematic racism. But to me, if you're in my community, surrounding my community as well, and I have to ask you to use the distributor, that everybody else is using in order to fund and to fill my beauty supply store, even though I still got to pay for those products. It's not free. You're still paying for the products from the distributor. So it's not like they're giving you anything. All they're doing is saying, okay, you can use the distributor. But without their okay, you cannot use the distributor. That's why when we do open beauty supply stores, it costs us hundreds of thousands of dollars out of our pocket because we can't get that wholesale price that they're getting. And then we keep going there buying stuff from them because their stuff is cheaper. Their stuff is cheaper because they're using a distributor that they won't allow Black people to use, and they're in our communities. The audacity. How? And how are we not boycotting these Asian-owned beauty supply stores? They don't care about us. They don't support our community. They don't put anything back into our community. And they blocking us from using the distributor. And they're keeping us from starting these businesses in our own community. You really done had it, huh? It's time to boycott all Asian businesses. I keep telling y'all, the Arabs, the Albanians, the Chaldeans, the Mexicans, the Asians, especially the white people. Man, these people don't care about us. They're not gonna help you use their distributors and their suppliers to be their competition. But yet, how many Asian stores are around? How many Arabic stores are around? How many Mexican stores are around using the same distributor? But soon as a Black-owned business come along and say, hey, I need to use these same distributors in order to get the wholesale prices so I can open my store, they say no in our neighborhood. Are you going to keep supporting people who are blocking your people from owning their own stores? Are you going to keep supporting this? Come on now. We got to find a way to bypass all these Asian markets, all these Arabic markets, all these Chaldean markets, all these Albanian markets, all these Mexican markets. Because you know what? While we're sitting here watching them grow, while we're sitting here supporting their kids and sending them to college, while we're sitting here patronizing their businesses, they're blocking ours. What a way to say thank you to the Black community. SMH, Farm Girl out.
Okay, so you all heard that. Listen, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. I have heard about this for years, okay, that this is what they do. And even when they do agree to let Black people purchase from them, you have to spend at least $50,000. And they know that the average Black person is not going to have that much. Okay, so this has always been the case. For many, many decades, they have had a monopoly on these things to force us into purchasing from them alone. Okay, so that's another reason we absolutely need to stop. But hold on. I want you all to pay attention to this. Let me share this on the screen. Now listen to this. Judge dismisses charges against Brooklyn Nail Salon's employees who beat Black women with brooms in 2018 melee. The judge dismissed it. Okay, assault charges filed against 2 Brooklyn Nail Salon workers who pummeled a Black customer with broomsticks and a viral video have been dismissed at trial. Okay, Yu Zing and Ni Lin had been charged with assault and weapons possession in connection with a 2018 brawl at a Brooklyn nail salon. On March 16th, Justice John Hecht tossed out the charges against both of them, ruling that there was not enough evidence to sustain the allegations against the 2 female workers. Well, I don't know how there wasn't enough evidence because, quite frankly, there was video footage because I will never forget the video went viral. Okay, so please pay attention. This is further reasons. This is even more reason to boycott them permanently. Okay, just be done with them. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Please like and share. Hold on, Queen, did you talk about Elijah McClain case overturning yet? No, I didn't know it had overturned. I absolutely did not know that. I'll have to talk about it tomorrow when I do my investigation into it. With that all being said, listen, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your strong end, not your weekend. Okay, keeping you in a weakened state of mind. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Tomorrow I will be live in the afternoon, not in the morning. Okay, so until next time, beloveds, peace.
Hit him with that flavor. All in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hate